On today's episode of Cornbread and Crap Boxes, we're going to see if we can get this truck. It's been sitting for years, running, and back on its feet again. Wait a minute. Haven't I been here before? Let me think. Today's episode of Cornbread and Crap Boxes, we're going to see if we can get this truck that's been sitting for years back in shape and running again. Well, it's definitely similar. I guess I got a favorite for these things. I don't know. I like what I like, you know? That's anybody. Welcome to the channel. Well, fellers, I guess it's about time that, I quit putting off, working on old Chief here. We've had him for about 4 months, and it's about time we work on him. And I know y'all been waiting on it too, because I've gave y'all a little sneak peek preview, and I put a few videos on the tickety tack here and there. But other than that, we really haven't went through and looked at this truck and actually seen it, all of it for what it's worth. This right here is a 1986. Yeah, I can't stay away from the 86s. I have Copper, he's an 86, and this one's an 86 as well. But this truck right here is not four-wheel drive. It is two-wheel drive. It's also short bed. So there's some differences between it and Copper. Another difference is this truck is powered by an engine that has 2 more cylinders. It's got a 302 underneath of it. Not only that, the 302 that's in it is not carbureted. It's fuel injected. So this is one of the early models of the 302s that had the fuel injection system that was mass produced. Now, when we open the hood, you'll see some of the differences and the similarities between the ones that you find in the brick nose and the OBS. This truck also has a 4-speed transmission in it, and that's not all when it comes to the gearing in this truck. It's not powered by some small skimpy rear end. It has a 9-inch rear end in the rear. So I think it's safe to say that this truck right here, and this is just my way of thinking, because I don't think that, that a truck like this was just put out on the market for people to buy with a 9-inch rear end, a 4-speed transmission, a 302 fuel injected. It came in this pickup, but I just don't think it was, just, hey, we're going to mass produce it this way. So if they did, tell me, put it down there in the comments. By the way, this would be a good time to tell you, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there, so that way you can get some more of this cornbread content. Smash that bell, hit that like button, share this video out, just do whatever you can. But that's enough yapping. Let's get over here and look at this thing. If you look at the pickup, it's got a lot of nice patina on it, just from where it's been sitting out in the sun. I don't think that this truck was used like a whole lot in highway miles and everything, and I'll get into that. But it's done a lot of sitting outside. As you can tell from the top part, just, where it's faded and the patina that it has. I figured we could start in here. I do have a few things in here, like my welder and everything. Didn't come with it, and I have a battery over there. So I just want you to look at this interior. And dash pad, it's got a little bit of wear, a little bit of crack. There's the 4-speed transmission, and somebody's changed the gear shifter in it. But look at this seat. I mean, that seat is in good shape. Door panels okay. I mean, they get a little faded up here, but this is actually one of the better ones I've seen. That one over there, armrest is coming up a little bit. It's actually in decent shape. And glass has got a little bit of wear from the windshield wipers, but it's decent. And I actually like this a whole lot better because it's easier to tint windows like these than the ones that have the sliding back glass. I'd rather have the whole piece of glass, and plus it leaves room for bigger stickers and whatever you want to put on there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I used to have an OBS that the back glass would slide open and I could hear the exhaust better, and I liked it too. So it just depends on the application, what the truck is. But I'm learning to love the whole piece of back glass a whole lot better because it leaves room for less air, especially when it comes to rain getting inside the cab. And plus we have these right here, which means we don't need air conditioning. As long as we're going 50 mile an hour down the road and we have these open, man, that's all you need. Now, that right there is typical. And that right back there is typical. And this ain't that bad. Boy, it's got an old set of steel belted radials. I ain't seen a set of tires like that in a long time. It's got this, fiberglass camper shell on here. It'll actually clean up, pretty good. Once I say, take some Purple Power or some LA's Totally Awesome to that, let it sit and pressure wash it real good. Tailgate's in decent shape, and one of the things that I actually like is this badge right here, electronic fuel injection. I'm just a sucker for old badges like that give off a little bit of detail. I believe this truck could have been owned by a company or maybe by the state, just because of this sticker right here, danger, high voltage. Now, where I bought this truck from was Salem, Virginia, and this truck come out of Rocky Mount, if I ain't mistaken. So I don't know what this truck could have been used for, but who knows? I guess if we can find some paperwork or find whatever is in this trash right here, or goodies, or whatever's in the back of this thing, maybe we can see a little bit of background of where this truck came from. See, there's that typical rust again. Typical rust. This side right here, all looks pretty good. Door panel looks good. Armrest has a little bit of damage. Going down in here, there's a little bit of rust right there, and I know there's rust probably going on through this floorboard. Copper had the same rust, and we just put tags over top of his, but I think I'm going to do something a little bit more with this pickup. This fender up here, it's crushed in a little bit, and it pushed in the bumper on this side. There's a spot over there. Like I said before, this just gives this truck character. This is a truck that once I get it fixed and start to think of some ideas of what I can do to it, I mean, it would look good, just shined up the way that it is, putting some shine juice on it, some of that Poppy's patina, taking this off. I don't know. Maybe we leave it on, maybe we don't. Clean it up, see how it looks. I really am not for the camper shell look. I think it needs to be took off, and we can probably get a little bit of money out of that right there. Now this truck, as far as I know, going off the last county sticker and inspection sticker, has been sitting since 2011. So that's 2 plus 2 equals fish. 4 times 4 equals a 350 small block Chevy. No, a 350. Maybe a 327. Let's see, 2011, and then 225, take away the 10, the best guess run. Alright, so this truck has been sitting for a total of 14 years. So with that being said, we're going to have to check over a few things just to make sure that, we don't do anything to pre-damage this engine before we run it. So let's take a look at this. Get down there, bad boy. There we go. Okay. No AC. Well, ain't that typical? Oh, but somebody's already deleted the small pump. 3 horsepower. Well, I guess the first thing we can do is check to see the fluids, what they look like. Huh. Are you in there? Hello? Hello? That might be a good thing, because if it's been sitting, then that way we know there ain't no cracks in the block. Not unless all the fluids just went downhill, because I do have it downhill right now. What does the oil say? Okay. Blacker than the ace of spades. But don't smell too bad. There's some one thing about fuel injected vehicles. If they're running right, then you won't have to worry about a bunch of gas just being dumped into the oil. But the one thing that you do have to worry about is electronicals. But hopefully, this being an 86, we don't have to worry about that too much. Now, one of the things we do have to worry about is the distributor, because these systems on these trucks in 85, 86 on up, I don't like it. It's like when they work great. But when they don't work, it's like you're chasing a problem. Well, is it the coil? No, it's not the coil. Is it the pickup in the distributor? No, it's not the pickup in the distributor. Is it that little ICM module on the side of the distributor? Well, who knows? Is it that? I mean, what are we doing here? As far as everything else, it's somebody's replaced the heater hoses with some Gates oil resistant, hose. Gates. They make good stuff, so that's a good thing, but that's definitely not factory. Now let's look in here and see what we got in here. Any juice? There we go. Ew. Okay, well, very little juice in the front. A whole lot of juice in the rear. I can't remember which side goes where. One goes to the front and one goes to the rear. You could follow the lines and see, but there's juice in there, so it's all that matters. So we're just going to shut that and just leave that like that until we can figure out the running part. Oh, look at that. It's turning, but I want to go full 360 just to make sure that everything moves the way it needs to. I didn't even think. I think this thing's in gear. This thing is turning fairly easy. I don't know if it's a good sign that it's turning that easy, but it's turning. Maybe it just needs to work its way around. Then again, I got this big old long G2 icon ratchet that I just bought today, and tools, they just make a difference on making stuff easier. I think that's good. Turned over, maybe 1.5 turns. It's got a few dirt daubers in the harmonic balancer, but it'll be all right. Mountain Dew. It'll tickle your innards. Okay. Oh, this is heavy. Test it to see if it's good. What in the world? Test it to see if it's good. Royal King, one of the cheapest places to buy a battery. And then when you're putting your post on, Make sure you just, hit it just a little bit. I didn't see no sparks. I don't see nothing weird happening. I'm gonna go in there and hit the key. Hopefully this solenoid don't do nothing weird. And hopefully nothing don't catch on fire. Oh, you can hear the dial going off. Where's the off button? There we go. Ah, shoo. Get that key out of there. Okay, here we go. My God, another one's going off. What is going on? Uh-oh. Well, that ain't good. I think I lost all power. Positive cable right here. We'll turn it a couple times. Hey! Attempt number 2. Oh, look at that. Shut up! All I'm hearing is, that was a success. We know the starter works. We know them stupid buzzers to let you know that the door's open and the key is in works. Know that the solenoid works over here. Know that our cheap Royal King battery is good. I was told by the guy that sold it to me, he said, listen, bud. I could take some brake clean, starting fluid, gas, premixed gas, kerosene, diesel fuel, propane and propane accessories, run it down the throat hole, and this thing will fire over. So before we even pull a spark plug and see if this thing's got spark, because we ain't got a point system. There's nothing to gauge or check. It's just a window that opens and closes in the distributor. We're just going to go ahead and pour some gas in the intake, and we're going to see if it'll fire off that. And if it will, then you know we at least got a truck that'll run. What was we going to do again? Oh, yeah. Let's see if we can't get something to take this off right here, and we're going to get something to pour in there and see if this thing will fire over. Pour some in there. And then pour some in there. Whoa! Well, I'll be a catfish dinner down at your local meat and tater restaurant. This thing fired over, so he wasn't lying to me. That is a good sign. This tells me 2 things. One, he was right about the fuel pump, and we just don't know which one it is. 2, we're either going to be dropping the tank and replacing the low pressure one, which I figured if the high pressure one works, then this thing ought to run. It just might not run as good. I don't know. I mean, how did it sound? Will you at least tell me? I mean, did it chatter? Did it sound good? So I guess the next thing to do would be to find the fuel relay and take that valve out and see if we're getting any fuel. Because if we're getting some kind of fuel, then we know at least one of them works. I don't even know if there's any fuel in the tank. I don't know if there's any holes in it. I don't know if it's any good. But we at least got to try. Okay, so this is what y'all are going to do. Y'all are going to sit there and just watch and see if anything comes out. I don't know if there's anything in this tank, but there's a good possibility if there is something, it'll come out. Now, I hear something cut on whenever I cut the switch on. That could be the low pressure pump. If it is, that's good news. That means we can probably get to that one on the fuel frame rail. And if it's not that hard to get to, like if the tank ain't hiding it or nothing. Now, if the tank's hiding it, Means we're still gonna have to drop tank. I don't know. I haven't got it into it this far, but y'all just watch and tell me if you see anything coming out. I'm gonna cycle it a few times. I looked back over the video and we really wasn't getting any fuel after the first cycle. But that first cycle, it seemed to push some out. So maybe it's just the way we're sitting, and maybe this thing ain't got nothing in it. And see, that guy that I bought this truck off of, I don't know if he really did any tinkering or anything with it. He might have just bought it off a guy, and the guy said it was the fuel pump, or maybe he thought it was a fuel pump. I don't know. And I don't know if there's anything in the tank. I can run out to the store, grab about 5 gallons worth of gas. That ought to be enough, even with it sitting on this little hill. Even if we just put a little bit of gas in this thing to see what it's going to do, like I said, I would just like to see if, it's at least going to push something up. Okay, got 5 gallons of gas in it. We're going to see what it'll do now. Well, I seen a little bit not come out, but was pushed up, I guess, in the fuel rail. I could sit here and cycle it back and forth and keep on cycling it and keep on cycling it and just hope that something comes out. But obviously, if nothing's coming out, and it's supposed to squirt way out there. But I think a minimum on these fuel injected vehicles is like, they're supposed to have like 30, 35, something like that. I could be wrong, but I think like that's the minimum you're supposed to have for these to run. And right now, I have zilch, zero, nada, maybe 1 or 2 pounds. I mean, if the low pressure pump in the tank, all it's supposed to do is just make sure the fuel gets up out of the tank. The high pressure one is the one that's supposed to make sure that we have adequate pressure. So maybe we start there. Just, replace the high pressure pump, and maybe that will fix our problem. Okay, so I did a little research. Apparently that low pressure fuel pump is only supposed to deliver fuel to the high pressure fuel pump and help it out. So that's probably the reason why it's not making it all the way to the fuel rail. It's really there, I guess, in case you run out of gas, and just to help it prime early in the morning. Say if maybe all the gas runs back to the tank. I don't know. But that would be probably one of the causes it's not making it all the way to the front. So we're going to get underneath here. We're going to see if we can locate it. My phone's about dead. So if I can just show y'all where it's at, and we can just look and see how hard it is to replace. I don't think it's going to be that hard. I heard it's underneath the driver's side, door. So we're just going to crawl underneath there and see what we see. Well, I can confirm one thing for sure. We have a leak. Okay, I'm thinking that's it right there, because I see the fuel line going in. And I guess it comes out, and I have a dirt in my mouth. And I think this is a filter right here. So, other than a leaky tank, I mean, it looks pretty clean underneath here, Well, I believe that's all the time we have for today. Gonna spend some quality time with my family this evening. Taking my daughter to the carnival, letting her ride some rides. And this can wait till tomorrow. It's been sitting here this long, so why can't it wait?
I'll see you fellas later tomorrow. I don't know if I can do it.
Like this. We'll see y'all fellers tomorrow.
We'll see you fellas tomorrow.
You gotta keep on doing the face. All right, guys, it's the next day. Already been working on this thing, getting that high pressure fuel pump off. And I just wanted to show y'all, a few things of what I had to do. I think these are 8mm bolts. I had to take 3 out. There's 2 in the bottom, 1 in the top. And basically, this just holds the fuel pump down inside here. And you have to kind of spread it apart to get it out. It would be a good thing to go ahead and clean whatever junk and everything that you find that's in there when putting the new one back in. Now it looks like this might be needed. This little sleeve right here, because the pump, it's kind of got some room to slide back and forth in there. So I'm just going to put this back in here, or put the pump back in here. It's probably good for it to have a little bit of, foam protection while it's in there. It'll probably make it, fit in there real good and snug too. So that's a good thing. I'm just going to be turning the key to see if, fuel shoots out. Now, I put 5 gallons gas in it. It's leaking at the front of the tank. So maybe we have enough for the fuel pump to, pick up. Who knows? We'll see. Let's see what it does. Well, not good news, because there ain't nothing coming up here. Dadgummit, get out here. Why would a stick just fly out of nowhere and land there? Oh, that's aggravating. Maybe it needs to be, starting for that thing to work. I don't know. I got everything hooked up the way it's supposed to be. What we got? Nothing. Great. Grand. Wonderful. Been trying to figure out this thing and what's wrong with it. Doing a little research. You can hook the pump up backwards, which I don't think I did. I can hear it, working, but as far as it pumping fuel, it's doing nada. It could be a fuel filter. It could be the screen in the tank is stopped up, which is highly likely because we know there's rust in there. I've already took a pair of pliers, and I ain't got a pair big enough to try to get the fuel filter housing, like the thing that the cartridge sits in, off, and I just ain't got a big enough pair. So I'm going to have to get a big enough pair to reach around there, bite it, and grab it and pull it. And I took my pliers and beat the tank. And when I beat the tank, the hole that was dripping fuel is now got a steady stream. So I got my gas tank underneath there catching all that fuel. So I think this whole setup, me being on a hill, not being able to jack the vehicle up and get underneath it like I need to, because I put that fuel pump on, I don't want to have to take it back off, so I think, what I'll do is I'm going to get this thing moved some way, somehow. I should have never put it down here, but I'm going to get it moved some way, somehow, up there to the front of the yard to where I can put jacks underneath it and to where I can leave it sitting up for a few days. And I'm going to work on this thing hot and heavy. As far as me being able to do it, maybe here in the next couple of days, I don't know. I know I got a few things that's going on next week. And, we got church tomorrow, so won't be able to do it tomorrow. And day of rest, and you just got to take them. And you know what they say, when you're to the point to where you're just, aggravated, it's just best that you walk off before you pour gas all over it and light a match and just set it on fire. And with that being said,
we'll see your fellers sometime later.
When we can. All right, guys, it's the next day, and I think I might have figured out our problem. I was thinking in my head today what I could do to maybe, try to think of a way to see if I wired the pump backwards. Well, I didn't. Let me show you what I got going on over here. I've rigged up 3/8 fuel line because it slides right over the little lip on the fuel pump, and I broke the white clip on the fuel line that went back to the tank, but that's okay. You can buy those part stores. I think it's like a Dorman part. But I got a fuel filter right here that I just had laying around from a different project that I barely used. I got fuel line going in there to the bottom of the tank. Then I got gas running through this fuel line, and it ran all the way up here, and I didn't think it was going to work, but then I noticed that it was pulling fuel, and it eventually squirted out and got all over here. As far as the return line, I just ain't got it figured out right now, but we know this truck runs, or it fired off a little bit by putting gas in the throttle body. So now I want to see if it'll run just off of this a little bit, maybe for a minute or two. I really don't know how much fuel it's going to suck through this gas tank and push back in the old one, and I know there's a hole back there. So I guess we're just going to try it as it is, and then we could figure out a return system after that. I'm gonna have to get a tank, and then we're gonna go down the rabbit hole. I done told y'all that, but let's see if we can't hear this thing run for a few minutes. It's out of gear, clutch in. Or maybe I'll leave it in gear. But here we go. There we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. Okay. Dang. Uh-oh. What went on? Lost power. Huh. See if we can't get it back. Well, ain't this just a geographical oddity? Alright, so I got it figured out. Boy, this thing's a headache. With these two fuses right here, this one was blown the worst, and that one was a little bit blown, meaning it still had a partial attached. So I just went ahead and replaced both of them. And then I hooked the positive cable up right here, and you could hear it inside the cab. So what is this, like try number 15 now? I don't know. Let's get this over with. Hey, we still got fuel in there. This thing's running good. Yes, victory. So glad, man. I was so devastated about it. Where you going? Gosh, is that how low you idle? That is, man, this motor runs good. Got a little clank to it in the valve train, but let me see if we got oil pressure. Okay. It was not reading on the gauge that we had in the oil pressure. Let's try that again and see what it does this time. Okay, oil pressure gauge is going up again. Okay, oil pressure gauge went up. We do have oil pressure, thank God, because I was worried about that. Man, now we can see if we can't let this thing sit here. Sounds like it's already trying to start to run better. Yeah, and the tick's starting to go away too. Man. This right here just makes me happy. Let me check that oil pressure again. Yeah, still good. Still got fuel? Oh yeah, but it's getting low. Getting real low. So I'm gonna shut it off because I don't want to run that line out of fuel. So I guess it's time to order some parts. Well, good morning, fellers. It's been about a month, but we finally got all the parts that we needed to work on old Chief here, just to see if we can get him running underneath his own power with his own fuel source now. Last time we got Chief running, I ran a rubber line from the high pressure fuel pump because we replaced that going inside a gas tank that was sitting pretty much down on the ground, but I moved it up here underneath the hood so I could get the truck moved up here. All I've been doing is just waiting on parts. I got the tank down the other day, and I finally found a tank. I found the fuel sending unit and the fuel pump itself. I got a couple of other things that I've bought and I put in the shed, and I'll go get them and bring them up here. One of the parts being a master cylinder, because the one that I got is locked up tighter than your grandpa's wallet. I got the old tank sitting over here, and shoo, let me tell you, that thing, I've seen some rough tanks, but this one, for right now, really takes the cake, because every one that I've ever had has just had like a small pinhole in the bottom. This one had a substantially large hole. Not only that, it has an even bigger hole on top, and water has just been getting inside the tank and pretty much ruined everything that's inside of there, and that's the reason why the tank's in the shape that it's in. So as far as it being the worst one, it's been the worst. We need to get the fuel filter replaced. We need to get the oil changed. We need to get that master cylinder replaced. We need to get this tank underneath here so that way just everything's working properly. You know, we'll have the low pressure pump that kicks up to the high pressure. And then maybe, since we'll have the return line fitted back, all the pressure will be equalized, and who knows, it might run better after that. But that's enough talking. I mean, I just need to quit running my mouth. I got too much crap to do. I've already blowed so much time. Let's get over here and let's look at these old parts and show you how bad they are. Here's the old tank. Like I said, looking at it from a naked eye, you know, from the outside, you'd say, well, there's a little surface rust. Ain't gonna hurt it. Really now? Surface rust? I mean, I ain't never seen one eat out at the top. And then, of course, the pinholes down here at the bottom. I mean, look at that. I mean, talking about something returning to the earth, this tank was trying to do it. So if the tank's that bad, what does the sending unit look like? Well, I mean, pretty much the same. Hanging off. Wires wasn't even attached to the pump. That's the reason why it wasn't kicking on and no fuel was coming through. Just water. This right here is what water will do to the inside of a tank. I mean, that's pretty bad. And there's what the pump looks like. I mean, it's just been sitting there for so long. I guess the amount of time that it had been sitting there this is just what'll happen if you don't have things put up or tarps put over them or vehicles sit for a while. I mean, this is what happens right here. I got pretty much all my parts from Rock Auto. So, good thing is, it was fairly decent, fairly cheap. And an even better thing is, it come with a magnet with somebody's vehicle on it. I looked at the pictures, measured. They had all kinds of different descriptions for what tank it should be. 16, 16 and a half, 17, midship tank, rear tank, sideways tank, upside down tank. I mean, just every kind of guy here. Tank you can think of. And, you know, this one came in. It's got a little bit of scratches, a little bit of dings. But for what I paid for it, I mean, you can't beat it. Even when it comes to the shipping didn't eat me up that much. It would have costed me, you know, $130, I think it was, for just the tank itself from the parts store. I think I paid like $80 for this one. And the shipping and with all the other parts, it pretty much, you know, added up to be cheaper. Well, I got the tank in her, you know, minus a leak or two. And that's coming from that fuel filter. I want to replace it. It's a canister type. And the O-ring that it comes with, just not too good. I had to go and change my shirt because I got drenched in gasoline and now my armpit's burning because I had to sit there and hold up that canister filter, and that was just a doozy. I'd have had this already done, but that canister type filter has 4 lines going into it. One for the feed in, one for the feed out, one for the return in, one for the return out. And then it goes into the filter and does its magic. The side that was feeding in to the filter wasn't allowing the fuel to get up to the high pressure fuel pump. Beat it all, that had to be the one that was stuck. Whoa. I swear, I hate them stupid devils. Get out of there. Oh no, I'm running out of juice. Where you at? Where you at? I need to get out of there now. Oh no, there you are. Maybe I can just piss you off. Maybe he'll go off. He's got a high now. And stay off in La La Land. We're going to try and see if this truck will start. Are you kidding? That's a bunch of baloney. Of course the battery had to be dead. Uh-huh. Well, there we go. Whoa. Okay, now that we got it running, we can work on getting the oil changed and getting the brakes done. One thing that kind of scares me is it's got a little bit of upper intake and the oil pressure just really ain't reading. It was before, and now it's not. And I kind of wonder if the gauge is bad, which is very possible. So now that we got it running and it seems like it'll sit and idle, I want to go ahead and get it hot. And so that way, whenever I change the oil, I know that whatever's built up in that oil, sludge, dirtiness, whatever, will come out whenever I change the oil. Well, fellers, it's a little over 7 o'clock, and I'm pretty much, done for today for what I'm going to get done. As far as on the agenda, we need to make sure this thing has brakes. I'm not going to do it today, but we need to make sure it does. We know it fires up and runs, so we just really need to see if it moves, and then get this thing cleaned up. And then once we get it cleaned up, then we'll have a good running truck that we know of. And we know other problems might come ahead, but we know that we fixed everything at the time being, besides tires. The tires are dry rotted all to crap. But anyway, that's all I'm going to do for today. So I'll get back to you when I get back to you. Well, guys, it's been a little bit, but if you couldn't tell by looking at where the truck's at now, he moved. It's actually been a couple weeks since I've been able to get back out here and to start working on this truck again. So I guess it's about time to update you on what I've did. It's been a couple of weeks, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, you see where it's at now. And I got it there because I finally fixed that wire going from that solenoid to wherever it goes. It looks like it goes to the alternator, but see that one wire goes into two, and then one of them goes to the cab, and the other one seems like it goes to the alternator. I didn't really trace it back, but it just looks like that's where it heads. I pulled on it, and it looks like it's pulling from down there, so it's very possible. The person who had fixed it before previously, and I mean, they had really good intentions. They took two wires, thinking that if they took two smaller wires that it would equal out to one big wire. And in that being said, they also put those fuse blocks in there, or the wires that they had fuse blocks in there. So the truck itself came with 30 amp fuses, and it blew through the set that was already in there, blew through a set that I put in there, and then I went and got the ones out of my wife's Durango, out of the set that she bought, and they were cheapies, but they work in a pinch, threw them in there, and it completely melted those. So I started doing some researching, and I was trying to look back at different wiring diagrams and try to figure out what I could do. And I asked several different people, and they told me just to put a straight wire on it, because obviously what was on it already wasn't factory. Somebody else had put it on there. And when they had put it on there, they basically took these two wires together, didn't twist them or nothing, put a little bit of solder, and the connection was not there. You could wiggle it, and it would lose connection, it would come back and forth. And it also caused the connection itself to corrode, and there was a lot of green corrosion, I guess, where it had just been sparking off of itself every so sudden, and that's not good for any vehicle that runs like a computer, or if it's going to a fuse box, it's really not good at all. And if it's powering the cab, I figured that it's going to the switch, or it might be going to the fuse panel in there, so it really wasn't good for it. And so what I did is I went and got 10 gauge wire. It's actually a little bit thicker than the wire that actually runs up to it. I put them together. I didn't have a connector. I twisted them real good, folded it down, and I went and got some shrink tube, the biggest that I had, but the smallest that I had also, if that makes sense. Like, it needed to fit over, the copper wire that needed to lay down, but also it needed to be small enough to cover up, the wire itself. Well, it wasn't able to, so I had to put electrical tape over it too. So my fix within itself really ain't professional, but it's more professional than what was on it. But what was weird is I started the truck, ran good, and I would feel the wire, the original wire, down below where the connection was, cold. I would feel the wire that I just put in up above the connection cold. I would feel right there in the middle where they would meet. And it eventually got to the point to where it was so hot that you could only lay your fingers. You could only lay your fingers on there for maybe 1-2 seconds at a time, and that was it. But it got that hot, and then it didn't get hot at all, and it hasn't been getting hot since. So I'm thinking that if there was something like maybe if that wire went to a certain part in the alternator, maybe there was something stuck in that alternator. Maybe there was like some kind of electrical connection that was dirty, or maybe the alternator itself, I think it's supposed to regulate somehow. Maybe that part wasn't working and it was stuck on high. I don't know. But this is one thing that I do know. It's fixed and it's not burning up no more. There's still plenty more things that needs to be done on this. We have to do spark plugs. I have the wires to go with it as well. And we might as well just go ahead and get that done, even though I know it's going to be a nightmare because, fuel injected truck, you got hoses going everywhere. But this one seems like it's going to be a little bit simpler than the models that came after it, because it's kind of simplified in its own way. Let's get over here and see what we need to do. Now we're going to take one out on this side over here and just take a peek at her. And then I'll show y'all what it looks like. Gosh almighty. God bless America. Whew. Okay. From the outside, it don't look that bad. It doesn't mean nothing though. Alright. Said I was going to have to get rid of this, and now I'm going to have to. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go on. So long. Farewell. Sayonara. There we go. Alright. Come out. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's see what we're looking at here. Oh. Actually burning pretty decent. What we got here? Oh, yep. Exactly probably what I'm putting back in it. That right there ain't too bad. It's actually burning pretty decent. Or at least I think it is. White right there at the top. Where it's been sitting, it's probably been a little bit rusty. Doesn't look like there's a lot of oil on that. Or no oil at all, I should say. And it ain't running rich. We're going to just, take these and, throw these out and stick these in there and run them for however long. Probably forever. And then we're going to take the plug wire, match it up, and get all these plug wires changed out, and maybe see if we can't run them a little bit better to keep them away from the manifold. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. But I'm going to get this done, and then I'll get back with y'all. All right. Got my daughter in here. Me and her's getting ready to take a little ride. I got a phone mount, but it ain't necessarily one that sits sideways, so I'm just going to have to mount up my phone probably about right there. And we're just going to have to go down the road, and if it falls, just bear with us, I guess. What do you think? You ain't got nothing to say? Usually you have something to say all the time.
No.
Do you like that noise?
No, I don't like that. That is irritated.
Watch this. Ready?
Do I have
Ready?
to buckle? I have to buckle?
Yeah, go ahead and buckle just for safety. We're just going up the road, but just in case. Yeah, make sure that buckle works good. Now unclick it and see if it works. Okay. All right. Just as long as we know that you can get out of it if you have to, okay? All right. Ready?
Cheese.
Ready?
Have a bug bite. Cheese.
Okay.
Eat cheese.
Life is full of bug bites. You're going to get bug bites
Everywhere.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep.
Nah, I can't see where I'm going.
Me either.
Backwards. Got this big old stupid camper shell behind me. I can't see nothing.
You can go back.
Okay. All right. Granny gear. Whoa. Yep. I knew that would happen. You want to hold it?
Sure.
You got to hold it still, though.
I'll try.
5 miles an hour. Literally. Ain't even doing that. Okay. There's first gear. And there's second gear. Right there. It's riding pretty good, ain't it, girl?
It's wiggly.
Yeah, well, I'd say the shocks are probably pretty wore out in it. You didn't shut your door good all the way, but
Blurry.
we ain't gonna worry about that right now.
It's blurry. Just gonna ride up the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more. The boat. Don't you come back no more, no more. Ah! There's so many pumps, so I can't hold it still. Daddy, I can't hold it very still, but I'm trying.
It's okay. Just don't try to. Just try not to wiggle with it. You can't help but wiggle some. Now we're gonna turn around up here at this church. I figured that's probably pretty good for its first destination.
I want to turn it back.
This thing runs really decent. Getting used to the clutch on it. You might need to take it off your knee because your knee's shaking.
It's a lot of wiggles.
Yes, lots of wiggles. I'm just, trying to cruise down through here. I think I'm going to do it in first gear because I don't know if there's a line that's going to pop or if there's a wheel cylinder that's going to leak. So I'm just trying to take it as easy as I can.
There's a lot of hills. That's why it's very bumpy.
What do you think, girl?
It's getting there.
Yeah? Which one you like the best? Do you like Chief? This what I call this one.
What?
Or do you like Copper? Or do you like the little Blue Ranger? Or do you like Daddy's Bronco?
I like Daddy's Bronco.
So you like the Bronco the best?
Yes.
Well, why do you like the Bronco?
Because you can roll it down and I get to sit in the front seat all the time when I go to school. And it's blue.
Yeah, well, you can sit in the front seat of this thing too, and it's got some blue in it.
Yeah, but you usually don't take this to school.
Yeah, well, I might. Well, fellers, I think it's running out pretty good. Now, this ain't a real test, just up to the church and back.
But there's a lot of bumps, so that's why it's wiggly.
Yeah, well, it's a truck, so It's going to be wiggly.
Yep, it's gonna make a lot of hills.
Well, guys, made it back. We got Chief, running and back on his feet again. Now, I do believe, once we get, some new tires on them, take this thing down the road and see how the brakes are going to do and, just get it back in running shape. We'll probably have to change the fluid in the rear end and in the transmission. But, for a 9-inch rear end and for a granny gear transmission, they're pretty tough. So as long as you keep the fluid changing in those, they'll last forever. The only thing you have to worry about replacing is the slave cylinder and the clutch whenever they go bad. I've had a busy week last week. We had a revival going on for 3 days. And this week, it took me till, today, to even get around, working on this thing. And I worked on it, a little bit last night, trying to get that wire fixed and get the solenoid fixed so that way I could get it off the jack stands this morning and see how the clutch and the brakes and everything else we're going to do. And I think it's going to be a good one. Now, we done yet? No. We still have to wash up Chief, make him look pretty, and go get his new tires on and shine up them hubcaps. And if we do that, I believe, Chief's going to not only be a good running pickup, but he's going to be a looker too. With that being said, guys, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all watching and putting up with me. I know I can't post, every week, but I do it as much as I can. I got to juggle around family life and appointments, and then being a pastor of a church, and plus trying to make this content for you guys as well. So y'all stick around with me. Who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll get around making, a video a week. And by the way, this is your reminder. If you like seeing this cornbread content, make sure you like, smash that bell, share this, do whatever you can so that way more people can see a little bit more of old cornbread here. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see y'all fellers later.